Okay, my YouTube friends, today we're going to get out of the 50s, maybe some of you are saying, finally, and hit the 1980 World's Strongest Man report from Strength and Health, which they covered in the January of 81, as shown here. And of course, there's Bill on the cover, who turned out to be the winner. He won both in 80 and 81, and he won some other years too. So in this case, they decided to have it at the Playboy Resort in upstate New Jersey, as it describes here. They made a couple changes. They went with the 56-pound weight throw instead of the cable toss, and they added the battery death event, which was on the last day. It was pretty interesting. They also upped the payouts, as it describes here. There's Bill with the log lift, which of course he won. Bill, of course, was a great power lifter. He was strength coach for Auburn University while this was going on, which it describes here. And there was some pretty big dudes here, and several power lifters, including, so you had Kazmaier, you had Don Reinhoudt, you had Larry Kidney, all pretty good power lifters, and other guys that were more classical strongmen and just big, strong guys. So we're going to just roll right into their descriptions of everything. I tried to give plenty of time on the bigger text things. Here's Kaz warming up for the 56-pound weight toss, which he ended up throwing over 16 foot. I don't think he won that event, but he did very well at it. Now that is not something that you would think a power lifter would have a specific advantage at. The truck pull is another event that Kaz ended up doing really well at. That, again, is a more classical strongman type event, and they made some changes to that to make it safer from the previous year. Because a couple people almost got run over by the truck at the end of the race, apparently. You had Kaz up against Dolejewis at the end there, shown here. And again, he wins. Not by a huge margin, but he wins. Well, some of these pics I got from other YouTube videos of the events, which you can find. Here's the uphill race, which is pretty crazy, where they're basically pushing what looks like a motorized wheelbarrow uphill, and this thing weighs hundreds of pounds. So you can imagine it's pretty tough deal pushing that thing up a hill. There you see a couple of the guys doing it. Pretty fun stuff that they do in these events, if you're crazy. I couldn't imagine doing much of this stuff. Then we move from that into the refrigerator race, which is basically, they have this contraption where they build a frame with holding the refrigerator. The whole thing weighs like 420, I believe they said. There you see Larry Kidney in the foreground there, getting ready. That's another crazy event where you're running pretty good distance with this. And Kaz knocked like 7 seconds off of the time that he did previously in the previous year. Then we go to another classic strongman type event, which is the bar bend. And again, Kaz does pretty dang well in that event. His upper body strength is just insane. I mean, his entire body strength is crazy, but especially he's just yoked. And then you have capes and Cleve Dean, the big guy, he weighed like 420. He was the heaviest guy in the event. And then we move on to this cool event with the Playboy bunnies, I should say. And again, Kaz wins that event. He's a great squatter, so, why wouldn't he? And he did 956, I believe, which he was the only one that actually did that weight. You had Lars Hedlund do 854. And then we move on to another power lifter type event, which is the silver dollar deadlift. And I don't know if you remember, there was a time when Paul Anderson used to do silver dollar squats like multiple times a day as part of a Vegas show to make money for his home. A lot of people still argue that he was the strongest man ever, but certainly have some contenders here. Then we move on to this new one, battery death, where you're holding a 60-pound battery out in front of you basically for as long as you can. So it's kind of a different take on the crucifix hold, except it's more like a front lift. And, you're holding that 60 pounds out pretty much straight out in front for as long as you can. There's superstar Billy Graham, who unfortunately left us not too long ago. And then we move into the another classic strongman event, which is the tug of war, which has, of course, been around forever. And you had to qualify to be in this event. And again, Kaz had developed this style where he's pulling with his one hand and kind of grabbing the ground and helping him along. There you see it. And it turned out to be a pretty good technique for him. Pretty unbeatable position, as it says there. Well, he says only the top 4 point scorers from the previous 9 events are permitted in the tug of war. And it's one against one there. It's not a group. I've seen other tug of wars where, it's like whole groups against each other, which is also interesting. So all in all, it seemed to go off pretty well. I think most people were happy with the way everything turned out. And here are the final results. Again, you see Kaz in first, and then Hedlund, Capes, Olszewicz, Hannon, Kidney, and so forth. And there he is. He wins in 80, and then he wins again in 81. Kaz is just a dominant, strong guy in powerlifting and in strongman competition. So that's about wraps it up, and I'm going to leave it at that. Again, I thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing and stay tuned for what's coming next. You never know what my mind is going to come up with. Thanks for watching, and I'm out.